Hello and welcome to EV Loop, powered by Carloop. I'm Adrian Maidment.
And I'm Akhtar, your host, live on site.
We'll find out where you are on site, Riz, but let me first start by saying this episode 24, cheaper Tesla. What's Riz been driving? Where is Riz? And upcoming EV show. Hello, Riz.
Hey, Adrian, good to be on. All of those things. There's just so much happening now.
Yeah, well, guess we'll start with where is Riz. So what are you up to today, Riz?
So we're recording this on a Sunday, and I'm out at east of Melbourne, a local government or council called Boroondara. They're hosting this event called Electrify Boroondara, which is just anything about home electrification, EVs, and a whole lot more. So they have lots of vehicle to sausage stands where they're doing a bit of sausage sizzle using vehicle to load functions from different EVs. They had an electric wok session where they were showcasing what was happening in the heating and cooking space. They have lots of batteries, solar, heat pumps. Like I said, electric vehicles are sort of the star of the show on the outside. And I'm here with Australian Electric Vehicle Association, which I'm the chair for in Victoria, in Melbourne, and the director on the board as well. So we're here supporting council-run events as part of EV community advocacy. The Australian EV Association doing a lot of good work, so I'm just here to support them as part of this event.
Okay, there's a few sentences there I've never heard before, but well, that's good. That's very, very good to be into the community there. I guess we might as well get into our list of things to go through. Maybe we'll start with the cheaper new Tesla.
Is it cheap? Is it expensive? That's what, depending on which news story you read.
I know. But apparently they're going to be bringing out a cheaper version, aren't they, of the 3 and the Y?
Well, it's been announced. Pricing has been revealed. They've listed all the things they've cut from the standard Model 3 and Model Y. They're renaming them in the US, calling the standard ones premium. So the basic entry level now is called the standard, and then there's the premium, and then there's the performance. So they've cut quite a bit, including a price. I think the Model 3 in the US is 14% below the price of the premium model, which is the old model, and has a few things that they've cut, including the likes of your basic sort of sound system is a little bit less. You've got a few more things that they would just generally include: heated, cooled seats, rear screen, all of that sort of stuff is gone. I think even folding mirrors are sort of no longer around. So it's all manual. But hey, that's what it means to make a car 15% cheaper. Some people say they haven't gone far enough in terms of the price coming down. But I think in the US market, where those vehicles were originally launched last week, the pricing seems about right. And it gives Tesla a room to be able to cut further. You don't want to come with like a really, really sharp pricing when they do have demand for their cars and then can't lower it further. Where I think they've got room to lower it further if they see that they're not selling as well or whatever the case being. And then very quickly after that, they launched in Europe. So just as of yesterday, they've launched in Europe. So interesting times ahead.
It's not a huge price difference there, was it? And not like like we were just saying, it's not like they've really gone cheaper.
No. And the most important thing is all of these cars come with autopilot hardware. So the things that you've recently experienced as well, Adrian, in your drives of the Tesla Model Y, most of the hardware is there, so it's full self-driving, supervised, capable.
Some people might even prefer that, a bit more manual sort of way to do things.
Yeah, it's a bit of a combo. And I think Tesla at the moment are just trying various different things. So yeah, with the Model Y standard being launched in Europe, it goes to show they're also going to be building it at the Giga Berlin factory. So yeah, time will tell.
Okay, we'll move on to something else. What have you been driving this week, Riz?
So currently I'm in an MGS5. I have to say it's one of my favorite affordable electric SUVs. Just does everything you want it to do, has one pedal driving, all the tech you would expect, 10-year warranty, reasonable size screens. There's enough physical buttons as well. I've been a long-term Tesla owner and driver, and sometimes it's nice to see some physical buttons for basic functions like climate and audio and the rest of it. And yeah, so all in all, I'm just impressed with the build quality. I had a chance to get a sneak peek of this car a couple of months ago, but yeah, now having spent nearly a week with it, I have to say it should be on the short list for most people looking at sort of a affordable electric SUV with 10-year warranty.
What's the price? What price are you
So
looking at?
they start at $40,990, which, could be, when it was launched a couple of months ago, it was on the more affordable end. There is a couple more options, such as the Leap motor coming in. That's going to be slightly cheaper, but I have to say, MG has nearly 100 dealers across Australia. They have a pretty reputable brand. They've proven by selling thousands of MG4s, and this is basically an SUV, more practical version of that MG4. Like I said, I'm pretty impressed. We're obviously coming to you live from this car now, so noise cancellation and, sort of the cabin is a pretty reasonable space to be in, and I'm just, genuinely impressed with what they learned from the MG4 and what they've introduced into this MGS. Very easy car to recommend to people.
Okay, you're also at the GWM Tech Day.
Shout out to GWM for letting me involved with that particular event. I learned a lot about the brand. They're focusing quite a lot on multi-drivetrain options. So they've obviously got the electric range with the Aura. They did announce there's a SUV version of the electric Aura coming next year, as well as a couple of other models available as fully electric models as well. They're obviously also quite focused on the off-roading market, which traditionally has been full diesel. Now they've got plug-in hybrids involved as well. I've got a chance to do a bit of off-roading with some of their plug-in hybrid vehicles and drive their electric vehicles as well. Luxury models that they're planning on bringing in, sort of like what BYD is doing with Denza. So lots of tech sort of showcased how all of their stuff works. And I think there's a big market particularly for their fully electric variants that they'll be bringing in 2026. So watch this space. They've been in Australia for 17 years. And they've been slowly growing. And their ambition is to be in the top 5 brands, which means multiple powertrains, multiple models, but really hoping that, amp up their electric vehicle sort of lineup, which they have, told us that they will be doing. And they announced that while announcing a sports partnership with the Richmond Tigers, an AFL football club in Melbourne, which GWM will be the main sponsor for as well. So lots of activity, and it's really interesting to see how different brands are trying different things to find their market, but also grow with the new NVES scheme as well, which basically encourages them to sell more battery electric vehicles. And GWM put on a really, really good show across 2 days to showcase that. And for anyone that's interested, you can check out their live stream online as well.
Okay, let's move on to deals of the week. I saw the Driven article. BYD offers $2,000 worth of accessories and more on its best-selling EV.
Pretty impressive, that one. I think there'll be obviously Sea Lion 7. Last month, they sold nearly over 1,800 units, which is pretty high. I think probably one of the highest I've seen of any electric model from BYD. So yeah, they're offering $2,000 towards accessories, merchandise. That's a lot of BYD hats you can buy for that. If you buy a Sea Lion 7 before the end of October and take delivery before the end of November. The show that I'm at Electrify Boroondara, they've got a Sea Lion 7 there. A lot of people really curious about the brand, getting in and out of the car. So yeah, $2,000. Wouldn't call it a cashback incentive because you're not getting any cash back. They say spend your way, which is another way of saying basically just spend it on the things that we want you to spend it on. So I don't think it's exactly $2,000 worth of value because, as we know, that the retail price of a hat, if it's $50, it probably costs them $10 to make. So you're not getting as many. But I still think it's a good incentive to get people into an electric vehicle.
They call that advertising, whereas it's called advertising.
Sorry, well, Adrian, you've got a better understanding than I do.
Yeah, that's just a little thing they come up with. Sydney International EV Motor Show very soon, Riz.
Yes, a couple of weeks from now, I've been talking to all the speakers that are going to be on there, a fair few EV company executives, lots of insight being shared, and obviously being a brand ambassador for the company that runs it. And the show itself, I think it's going to be quite a good event. They're expecting over 30,000 people to attend. We obviously, if you're interested in attending, there's a buy one, get one free offer as well for the show. But yeah, do check out the website. There's a lot of new things being added. There's a lot of new brands coming on board as well as we're getting closer to the show, which starts on the 31st of October to the 2nd of November. And I've just heard within the last 24 hours, there's going to be a big showcase of vehicle to grid technology with a company that's sort of leading that space in Australia from our energy retail point of view, coming on board to really talk about all the cool things they're doing in the vehicle to grid space. So if you're interested in that or checking out any of the new models, there'll actually be at least 2 unveils of new models that we have not seen so far. So, watch this space and check out the show if you're interested and happen to be in Sydney at the end of October, early November. But yeah, lots and lots of things going on.
Okay, we're moving on to the mailbag section from comments. Got one comment. Great sale. This is from last video about the Y. Great sales figures. Do you think the standard Model Y will come to Australia Q4?
Ooh, look, it's really hard to tell because the Tesla Owners Club of UK, after it was announced in Europe, were pretty confident that they're going to get a right-hand drive version in the UK. So if they're getting one in the UK, they're very likely to be getting one in our market potentially as well, because we are now starting to get cars in Australia and New Zealand in the form of the Tesla Model Y Performance from Berlin, which is where this standard version will also be made. Hard to tell at this stage. I would say possibly Q1 2026, because Tesla has a few things. They've got to get the longest range EV, the Model 3 long range all-wheel drive, which we spoke about. That's likely to come before the end of this year. The Model Y Performance is supposed to come up before the end of this year. I think they've got a little bit on their plate. The only thing that gives you a little bit of doubt in terms of landing on this side of Christmas is the fact that it's, as far as we know, it's not going to be produced at China at this stage. Otherwise, we would have seen regulatory approval for that type of vehicle in the Chinese market. We did see one for Model Y rear-wheel drive long range with expected range of over 700 kilometers WLTP. Now, that's in the approval works, which means it's probably going to be there in about 6 to 8 weeks before Christmas in China, and then we might see it early next year. So, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get the standard version here before Christmas. Funnier things have happened, but at least it's good to see it's going to Europe as well. It's not just a US only product.
Okay, and anything else sort of caught your eye this week in the industry, Riz? Any sort of just anything else? It could be from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, well, last week we spoke about the Atto 1. I think we're going to be getting that very soon. That's a good thing. I get to test drive it this week, so I can give you a bit of a heads up that in the next couple of days, I'll be test driving the Atto 1, the Atto 2, and a couple of other BYD products. Another big sort of exciting event that's happening, I will also be attending the first customer deliveries for the very popular Zeekr 7X. I've been at this Electrify Boroondara show here, and Zeekr, one of the Zeekr showrooms, South Yarra Zeekr and Volvo have showcased some of their vehicles. And Zeekr 7X is very popular. A lot of people are getting in and out. And it appears to be, bit of a hit. So first delivery start this coming week. I'll have more to share on our next episode. And hopefully I'll have some footage from that delivery event as well, so that we could, sort of showcase what Zeekr's sort of expecting to see from its customers. But all in all, Australia's cheapest EV, lots of other things going on. And just as a bit of a sneak peek, there's also something pretty special after the Sydney International EV show that I have been invited to. It will be an overseas trip with video and footage from overseas, which I'll be sharing. So something to watch out for. And I'm sure I'll be driving some pretty new and exciting cars that we're going to get in the Australian market in the next 6 months or so. So stay tuned for that one.
Any final thoughts, Riz? Get you back to your sausage sizzle?
Yeah. So I'll get back to my electric vehicle to sausage trial. I've had 2 sausages already. So look, all in all, I think there's a lot of buzz. I'm expecting Q4 to be hitting consistent over 10% vehicle sales to be fully electric. And with the models that we've got coming up, plus the supply of existing models and incentives, deals of the week, we're only going to see more deals and very exciting times. So look forward to sharing all of that with our viewers and listeners. Yeah, over to you, Adrian, to close it off for this week.
Close it off by saying thank you, Riz, and please like, subscribe, share the EV Loop videos, because that helps. It helps the algorithm. Apparently, the algorithm likes that. So thank you very much, and we'll see everyone next week.
See you next time.